I'm Amanda Maguire. I identify as she, her. I'm a neurodivergent, which means I'm autistic, ADHD, which I like to say attention differences, and dyslexic. And I go on this motto because only if someone gave me the correct information, because a long time ago we were struggling as a family, and I was given all sorts of information and it was a completely wrong information. So I've been on a long journey discovering my children, discovering who I am. So today we're going to be talking about acceptance. So first of all, what is acceptance? We'll be going through that and moving on through all of these topics. Now, I've only got 20 minutes, so I try to squeeze in as much information as possible. So we'll be going through what is the process of acceptance, what tools and actions do we need. I can't even see that. My eyesight's really bad, I'm sorry. I can't even see it. I'm so sorry, this is so unprofessional. Number 4.
Number 4, what are the positive outcomes?
What are the positive outcomes? Could you read on, please, because it looks really small on my screen.
Fine. Number 5, what does acceptance look like? Number 6, what's the difference between awareness and acceptance? Number 7, self-reflection and inner peace.
Thank you. Okay, so I looked in the dictionary, what is acceptance? So I took 2 descriptions, one from Wikipedia, which is acceptance in human psychology is a person's asset to the reality of a situation, recognizing a process or condition, often a negative or uncomfortable situation, without attempting to change it or protest it. And the Cambridge Dictionary is general agreement that something is satisfactory or right, or that someone should be included in a group. So I want to talk about, first of all, what is the process of acceptance, because I'm not just going to touch on neurodiversity as such through the process of acceptance in neurodiversity, because we go through this process all the time. You know, from our car breaking down to, you know, losing a loved one in some respect. So we experience this all the time in our lives. So first of all, we're just going day by day, having basically normal existence. We're not we're unclouded by doubt, and we're comfortable with our own belief systems. Then we have receipt of bad news. We can be shocked, which we need time to process the information given. And after that, we can go into denial and basically saying that this can't be true, it can't be happening, maybe you're wrong. Then we move on to anger. Now, anger can be expressed in many different ways, as I'm sure you all know. So we can internalize anger, or we can externalize anger. We can have the fears and the doubts, and change as well can make us angry. And trying to fix, sometimes when we go into anger, it's almost like, I've got to fix this. Then we move on to depression, feelings of despair, feeling trapped and stuck, that you're not in control of a situation. You can become confused, or you can even experience grief. Then we move on to bargaining. So understanding that it's not going to change, feelings of wanting to move on, understanding a shift. When you come out of the depression, there is some sort of a shift that happens of energy. you also, it's like a surrender to the way of new life. So once we've gone through that process, we come into acceptance. So we inquire a new understanding. You say, well, I've learnt so much from this. You can look back. So shifting your thoughts, like I said, and learning to trust. You're able to make decisions from what has been learned, what's worked and what hasn't. Understanding what your story is, how far you've come, to value your journey into acceptance. That's really important. Being able to look back on the whole process, being able to empathise with others going through similar experiences. So I just want to touch on, sometimes we can go through this process quite quickly, and it depending on our family dynamics as well, that our partner or somebody in the family can also be stuck in denial for a very long period of time. Somebody could be stuck in anger for a long period of time as well. So what tools and actions do we need in order to accept? So in order for us to be able to move on into acceptance, we need to be in a comfort zone to understand the whys and what are the triggers that let us out of our comfort zone. So I wanted to show you this because this was by Dyslexic, and it's basically about a window of tolerance. So in the yellow, you can see it's our comfort zone. So this is our window. So in order for us to move on to anything, we need to be able to be emotionally regulated. We need to be able to self-soothe. If we're constantly living in a fight-flight response or a freeze response or a fawning response, we're not in our comfort zone. So we're not able to process things properly. So that's why it's really important when you go into acceptance that you're able to maintain yourself in that comfort zone. We need to be educated and informed to understand about neurodiversity and where we're obtaining the information from. That's really important. Like I said before, 10 years ago, the information I had then compared to what it is now is completely different. So the information that you receive needs to be up to date. We need to be able to challenge our own belief systems. From our parenting, we have certain styles of parenting, and that's usually taught from our parents or carers. We need to be able to look within our own parenting and not look at how other people are parenting, especially if they don't have different neurotypes in their family. We need to be able to challenge how we look individually at our child as well. You know, because sometimes in acceptance, we have feelings of discomfort. You know, what are our triggers? What is happening with our children that can trigger us? So how do we respond to that? And what's really important is what needs do they have? Understanding that acceptance is more work for us individually than it is for anybody else. So what are the positive outcomes of acceptance? There's absolutely loads, and I try to minimise it to the importance that I thought. And this is from my own experience that I found that being accepted There's no conditions to the love that I receive. I don't have to do anything in order to be loved. If there's unconditional love there. Growth in oneself, so you can nurture yourself. Give the right environment, yeah, that's really important. You know, you wouldn't plant a palm tree in the North Pole. It just wouldn't survive, would it? Understood and valued. Yeah, that's really important, to be understood and heard. Empathy, you learn more resilience because you're having that positive input. You feel more confident and you're accepting of others as well. It's normalization, you know, and part of society is really important. We are part of a society. We can self-reflect, we take our own responsibility, and we believe in ourselves and believe in others. So it's all well and good me saying about all this acceptance, but what does it actually look like? From my own personal perspective, with my own family, it's us being comfortable with ourselves, that we don't have to continuously mask. Understanding ableism. So many people use words, well, you should be able to, and you could be able to. That is a sort of ableism in our family. We don't try to use those words at all. Because if we're not able to do something, we need to accept that. Understanding your needs and your child's needs. Having an open discussion. So there's a lot of old shame and guilt around neurodiversity. And in our home, we have open discussions. If somebody's struggling, then it's not hidden. We try to be open with each other. Self-advocating is really important. My eldest child at the moment is learning to self-advocate, and she's doing quite well. Having a connection, how you're exchanging energy, yeah. So how do you use your energy around your family? That's really important, because connection is what we all need. Allowing yourself to make mistakes, yeah. You know, nobody is perfect, we're all human, and finding solutions. So even if you've made a mistake, you know, there's always solutions to it. So what is the difference between awareness and acceptance? So this is a lot to do with the neurodiversity paradigm, because we're trying to move away from the word awareness to acceptance. Because awareness is, you know, somebody knows somebody who's autistic. You still use the words should and could. You use the words spectrum, disorder, defect, condition. We don't use those words in our house because we're just different neurotypes. You try and change the person rather than changing yourself. Again, putting your fears and your doubts onto somebody else, that they should behave a certain way or do certain things. And it's not a lived experience, awareness. So acceptance, we were saying before about having that deeper connection. You understand the whys. Requires you to face uncomfortable feelings. It's a journey, acceptance. It's not something that happens overnight. And you have uncomfortable feelings through it because you're challenging your own belief systems too. So you meet where you are right at this moment and your child. You're not thinking of the future, it's what's happening right now. And you enjoy your children, you enjoy your family. Having love, safety and belonging. Every human wants this. So self-reflection and inner peace. I want you to think about where you are right now in your journey of acceptance. And that's okay if you're still in anger or you're in denial. That's okay. There's no right or wrongs here. So what thoughts are you having right now and how is it making you feel? Are you being present in the moment? Are you being compassionate towards yourself? Are you healing yourself? Are you understanding your own triggers? Are you inviting acceptance into your home? Respecting and identify an autistic community is really important because then we feel heard and supported. Understanding what you can control and what you cannot, that's really important. And trusting the process. Like I said, you don't have to, be coming straight through into acceptance. It's a process and it's allowing and trusting that process to happen. So thank you for listening, everyone. I'm hoping that you've got some